Today, I am revealing one of the most common and costly mistakes almost every FC25 player makes on defense. I have been coaching for 6 years now, and one thing I keep hearing is I can't seem to stop my defense from getting exposed. The answer? Overusing something called the second man press. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly when to use it, when to avoid it, and how to integrate it in your overall defensive game without leaving yourself open. Now, before we get into the mistakes, let's clarify what the second man press button is actually all about. In FC25, when you hold down the second man press button, your AI controlled teammate steps up to support your controlled player. It's designed to help you apply pressure quickly on the ball carrier without risking a full on commit. When used correctly, it can cut off passing lanes and force your opponent into rushed decisions. But, and this is the key, if you overuse it or use it at the wrong time, you leave your defense vulnerable. In my coaching sessions, one complaint from my trainees is that they are relying too much on the second man press. They hit the button at every opportunity, thinking more pressure always equals better defense. But here's the problem. Overusing it often disrupts your defensive shape. Instead of your team staying organized, you end up with players pulled out of position, leaving gaps that skilled opponents can exploit. This is the costly mistake I see time and again. Imagine this, you press too early, your support defender rushes forward, and suddenly there is no one covering the central channels. The opposition finds that gap and you concede an easy through ball. That's the lesson so many trainees have learned the hard way. But before I show you when to avoid second man pressure, let's talk about its benefits. As you have been able to see in these examples, we are able to cut off short passing lanes using second man pressure. If your opponent is trying to build up play with quick short passes, a well timed second man press can disrupt that rhythm and force an error. Remember this, in FC25, we have to do passive and aggressive defending, and second man press allows us to do that. When I'm passively cutting a passing lane and holding the R1 RB second man press button, one of my players will apply pressure on the ball carrier. Now, when I have marked the respective passing lane, I can click L1 LB and take the guy who was second man pressing and apply direct pressure on the ball carrier. Once I have done that, I can move on, mark another passing lane, and repeat this process. It allows me to press without actually breaking a lot of my defensive shape. This is the whole idea behind using second man pressure. You use it to cut passing lanes, apply double team on the opponent. If he's on the wing, you can double team him with your fullback and your winger and just apply so much pressure that you're able to get the ball back. But there is a thin line between this. So much pressure or too much pressure can be bad. There is a thin line, like I said. Now, I want your full attention, okay? I'll give the ball to the opponent. Guys, do not second man press with the players who are on the inside, right? See, if I do this, look what Eder Militao is doing. I am pulling him out of position. Instead, I should be doing something like this. While I cover the inside, player on the outside is applying second man pressure. This is something you want to do, right? Don't second man press with your center backs most of the times, right? See, this is still good. I'm able to second man press. See, this is the correct way of second man pressing. Now, if you second man press without paying any attention to who is second man pressing, guys, you will pull players out of position. I have told this many times to my trainees, but they still make this mistake. See, okay. Now, if I do it, this is wrong. Don't do this. Similarly, if I bring Bellingham over here, see what I'm doing. I'm leaving open passing options in the middle of the park. Instead, I should use second man press in short bursts while applying pressure and marking a passing lane, right? This is the correct way of second man pressing. Now, in order to do this, I also recommend that you go in your settings and go to visual, right? So this is teammate contain indicator. Turn it on. This way, you will actually know who is about to second man press. If this cursor is on your center backs, you don't do it. You don't second man press, right? You try to second man press most of the times with the players who are on the outside or with your attackers. Double team the opponent on the wings. This is the correct and the only way you should be using second man press. Now, pay attention again, okay, guys? See, if I second man press like this with one guy and I don't let it go, I'm destroying the shape of my defense. I'm literally destroying the shape of my defense. I don't want to do that. Now his bar is gone. He can't second man press because they will always, like headless chickens, approach the ball carrier. When doing so, they will leave gaps open just like this. Now that you have a good understanding of when not to do second man press and how it can be beneficial, let me teach you when to use it in game. Guys, assess the situation first. As you can see in these clips, I am assessing the situation. I am looking at the passing lanes of my opponent. Take your focus away from the ball and focus on where he can pass the ball, and then use your right stick switching to cover those passing lanes. While you are covering passing lanes, second man press, okay? Apply a short burst of pressure. Don't second man press entirely with one player. That will, one, pull him out of position. Second, you won't have much control over your players. You want to micromanage your players. Don't hold down the button continuously. Use short bursts to apply pressure and then immediately revert to manual control to maintain defensive shape. This is exactly what you are seeing in these clips. And lastly, you have to combine it with manual defending. Rely on your own positioning and decision making as much as on the AI support. Think of the second man press as an extra tool. Use it in tandem with your natural defensive instincts. Okay, guys? You have to apply second man pressure in combination with your manual defending. Instead, use double team to pressure the opponent with two players. That way, it will be much harder to beat you in 1v1 defending. And don't forget to hit that like button. And now, if you need a complete defending tutorial, check this video out here.